Hi, my name's Buckos.
It doesn't matter what your name is!
Well, alright then. Thanks to J City for this footage of Trickster Rock, Attitude Era Rock, running red, purple, purple, Daniel Bryan and Big Show. Daniel Bryan to put some purple gems on the board, Big Show to buff the damage points on those two purple moves. First goal though is to get that red move loaded. Mission accomplished there. This is going to swap a grid into purple gems, a 3x3 area. And now our two purples are set to go. This one is going to change green gems into purple. We have a choose. We can choose up to 9 with the Daniel Bryan boost. But we don't want to make any matches here. Our goal is just to get purple gems on the board because we get a bonus for every one of them that's on the board for this finisher. So maybe Daniel Bryan is not needed here if you're just adding purple onto the board. There's an 80k finisher. Trickster Seth Rollins tough would give a bonus for those purple gems, add some gem damage. Might be the way to go. Daniel Bryan probably not adding all those purple gems unless your purples aren't loaded yet. So now we're going to see a different build. This is removing the two purples. So he's going to be a trickster running no purple moves. We're going to see a couple of different variations using his 2 red moves and his 2 black moves. This is going to be with Striker Seth Rollins, who adds bleed damage, and Sting to get that red bleed move loaded as quickly as we can. Now what bleed damage does is it's similar to power gems that we see on Sting, Ricky Steamboat, but the advantage to a bleed move is that the damage that's happening on every turn, you can't break them. You can break Sting's power gems. You can use a guy to change them into some other gems. You can't change bleed damage. And what you'll notice is you saw that black move, that's a second bleed move. So now we've got 2 sets of bleed damage stacking on top of one another every time it's Goldust's turn. So this is unbreakable constant damage for 4 turns. And you can see a pinfall, every time a ref counts, that counts as a turn. So more bleed damage, and all of a sudden he's got nothing and he gets pinned. So that's pretty effective. Another effective build is against a guy running 2 red moves. Razor Ramon, Andre the Giant, Jinder Mahal, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, those come to mind. And what we've done is we've swapped out the second bleed move, so we're not going to get as much bleed damage here. But this move is a 2 charge and it steals red MP. So Razor was all set to go and hit us with that submission and the trap gems, but now we've got all that red. Put the bleed move out there. Change this area to purple gems to give us some damage. Get a cascade. Our red moves are loaded again. And even if they weren't, you see that black move is only a 2 charge. It's already half full because it was our turn. So every time Razor gets some red, we're stealing it. Don't need to steal it right now because we'll add our bleed damage on first. So this is just a constant barrage of damage. And now we'll steal more and do it again. So these bleed moves just keep stacking. The damage just keeps stacking on top of each other, draining Razor, who started with well over 200,000. Here's the one issue with this build. Much like a Ricky Steamboat, there's no finisher here. So the bleed damage keeps coming and keeps coming. But what we need is to get that pin bar to move. That's why running this second red move instead of the extra bleed move gives you a bit of an assistance there. Because you can see that pin bar hasn't moved a whole lot, even though we're constantly dealing damage. He's in danger, but we got to find a way to pin him. So once we kick out here, this red move that's charged, I'm just going to make sure, this red move that's charged that we're going to change that 3x3 area into purple, this should move the pin bar, depending where it goes, to a spot where we can finish this match, and it does. So that's red 1, red 2, and black 2. Now we're running against Jinder Mahal, another guy who's got 2 red moves going, but instead of the 2 reds and the black MP steel, we're going to run the 2 blacks, MP steel, and the 2 bleed moves. This is the complicated one where I told you now we don't have that red move that creates the area of purples to really move that pin bar. So you're needing to rely on some sort of cascade or some sort of really big move that gets that pin bar over. We're going to be dealing tons and tons of damage because these are the 2 bleed moves that are going to be running at the same time. Jinder's got his 2 reds loaded, but we're about to steal all that. Run the bleed move. Steal his MP. Run the other bleed move, but keep an eye on the pin bar. It's still in the middle. And we don't really have a move to get that to go anywhere. So Jinder's just going to be completely drained of MP pretty soon here because of all this bleed. But that pin bar, as long as he keeps making a little match, we need to get a lucky cascade here. So that's why this stacking these 2 bleed moves on top of one another is great to get the guy down into danger. But to get that pin bar and end this match, that's the difficulty. You see it's still going. We don't need any more bleed damage at this point. He's drained. We finally get that row break, and that's what's going to pin him. So great to get that damage down, but you got to get creative. Maybe with a prop when you're in a feud, one of those row break or column break props that gets that pin bar to where you need it to be. One final match here. We're going to run this same setup against Razor. That 2 MP is the key here because it doesn't matter what Razor does on his first turn. So he's about to kill any normal opponent here with those 2 reds and start the slow death against Razor Ramon, but all that MP is going away. So I mean, it's, what do you like? You know, the super quick drain by stacking the 2 bleed moves on top of one another, which is what we've got going here? Or do you like the ability to maybe get less per turn damage, but have that 3x3 area to break to really get yourself in a pinning position? You might look at it as, you know what, I just want to beat Razor Ramon. I just want to beat Andre the Giant and have them not get me into submission hell. Because that's what those guys can do to you, and that's the frustrating part. The good move about them not being able to get these moves off is that it's not costing you a lot of HP. But what I think it is costing you is it's costing you time. Because not only are the matches longer, but look at some of these animations and little things built into the game that makes this longer. especially when you've got these bleed moves stacked. You see, every time it's his turn, the game's going to tell you, bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. That's taking time. When you get him into a pinning position, it's the same thing. Every time the ref counts 1, 2, or 3, all of those bleed moves you've hit on him show up on every count. So that's slowing the match down too. Anyway, Rock is very versatile. He's specifically designed to be this red move killer. But you saw in our first one with his 2 purple moves, he can get matches done quickly too. So he's the people's champ for a reason. Bleeding, 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 bleeding. That's a long pinfall. But hey, Trick Rock is fun. And if you want to kill Razor and Andre the Giant in a feud, he's a pretty good way to do it.